Good morning, Central Texas. Welcome to Kids Community Connections at My Kids 1031. And you know what? I'm not happy because the weather is getting warm for some strange reason. These 70s is coming around. You all know I like 40 degrees, okay? You know, so I can wear sweaters and all those cool things because, you know, it's me. I like 40 degrees. So I'm going to go home today and dance the 40-degree dance so the weather can get a little cooler and I could be happy again. So that's my thing. I really want that to happen, like now. And also what I want to say is, yes, I do First Friday Black Business Cash My Meetups, which means every first Friday of the month we're a different Black business. Our job is to support that business, and that business owner's job is to make sure that we come back. But we're going to change it a little bit because this first Friday happens to be April 6th, and it's Child Abuse Awareness Day. So where do I want you to be next Friday? From 4:30 to 6:30 at Eastward Elementary School on Rancier in Killeen. I want to see you there. Why do I want to see you there? Because I just told you it's Child Abuse Awareness Month. And that's the day that we're going to celebrate it. And we need to be there. We need to know what we don't know about it. We need to quit lifting the carpet. And, you know, we put it under there and then we close it back down. That doesn't help because the kids are still dying at the hands of parents and whomever they're with. So that's not helping it by lifting that carpet and sweeping it under there. We need to lift the carpet and sweep it out. And we need to talk about it. If I don't see you there, okay, this is my threat. Here I come. If I don't see you there, I'm going to assume that you're okay with child abuse. Okay? Serious. Because if you're not there, I think that you're okay with it. So then that's my thought. And you can't change my mind because it's mine. Because I feel that strongly about it. If kids are today, and, you know, let's dispel the rumor. Kids are not your future if they're already living. They can't be because they're living. So if the kids are today, our job is to make sure they're safe, stay safe, and we need to do whatever we can do to keep them safe. No matter what we got to do, we need to do it to keep them safe because they depend on us. And we're dependent on them to take our places tomorrow. Well, we got to get ourselves ready and get them ready to be here. No child deserves to be beat to death or beat at all, actually. I know people will say when they got younger, they got hit with spoons and switches. Well, we probably needed it then. But today, people go a little too far with it. So next Friday, April 6th, I need you to be at Eastward from 4:30 to 6:30. And if I don't, like I said, see you there, I will assume that you're okay with it. And that's how I feel about it. Also, on April 12th, my show, Community Connections, along with, actually, I might as well say Town Square Media, we're going to do a sex traffic training at the Killeen Police Department, the new one the new one that we have. We're going to do it there. It's going to be from 6 to 8. Why are we doing it? Because sex trafficking is happening now. It's happening in our area, and guess what? We're letting it happen. Why? Because we don't know what we're looking for. We don't know what we're looking at. I'll say most of everybody has seen some traffic happen and didn't know what they were looking at. Thus, we're allowing it. So the more education we get about it, the more likely we can stop it because it's growing. And it's growing faster than you think. Why is it growing? It's growing because, I'm going to say it and it sounds really bad, but to make you understand what I'm going to say it. I can make more money selling a child than I can drugs. I can only sell that drug one time. That's it. One time and that's it. Child, I can sell that child over and over and over. In Houston right now, sex trafficking outbids drugs right now. And that's horrible. I wouldn't want either one to be it, but that even feel worse about the fact that, you know, sex trafficking is going more because the price of drugs and the longevity of you being able to sell over and over again is less because you can sell a kid more. Is it hot in our area? Yes. Houston is #1 in the United States for child sex trafficking. Atlanta, Georgia is #1 in the United States for human trafficking, which includes both, which is labor and sex trafficking. So we need to stop it. In our area, you might want to remember, we're part of the I-10 corridor. So since we're in that corridor, it's hot in our area also. Yes, our kids have been taken, but do we know? Nope. Why not? Because we don't know what we're looking at once again. And I'll tell you one thing that we can follow, and we can actually do it. Let's say on Monday you read the paper. You find out that a girl is missing. First, she's going to be called a runaway. Let's say by Wednesday, it's not in the paper no more. So guess what? Since it's not in the paper no more, we don't care about her no more. We only cared about her Monday and Tuesday when it was in the paper. Wednesday, we don't care about this girl. So I'm going to ask you, did you call the police department to see if she was found? Nope. We just wrote her off. We did. We wrote her off. We just wrote her off. Well, I'm going to challenge you now is when you hear about this child missing for so many days and all of a sudden not in the paper no more, not on the news, call the police department. Has she been found yet? Nope. What are y'all doing? Looking. I would call them every day almost to see, because you know what? If she's still missing and she hasn't been found, guess what? Then she's most likely been trafficked. And we don't follow her no more because we become a community of I don't care. You know, so we need to change that, because we need to focus. If a child is missing, we need to go find out. Call the police department. Y'all still looking for her? Nope. Well, let's find out why. You know, what you doing about it? Whatever. And when they say they're no longer looking because she switched from a runaway to she's just gone. Okay, so if she's trafficked, we've lost her. And we didn't do anything about it. You know, there have been girls in Killeen that have been trafficked, and they fell off the radar of being, you know, runaways. So we don't care anymore. So she's trafficked. You have kids that are nightly trafficked. You have kids that are only weekend trafficked. Are they in our area? Yes. You know, in fact, I'll challenge you to go Google child sex trafficking in Killeen, and it's a girl that's going to come up to tell you she was trafficked at night, went to school every day. That wasn't too long ago. We were all here, most likely. And you think about it. She was right here in Killeen, trafficked every night. Went to school today, next day, went to school. One of the ladies here, her child is missing through traffic, and she comes back and forth. We're going to talk to her in a few minutes, but her own daughter has been sex trafficked, you know, and it's not a good thing. So remember on the 12th of April, 6 o'clock, police department, be there so you can get your extensive training, and you have no excuse not to come. Really, you really don't. No excuse. So that's my soapbox and my invitation and where I want to see you at on these next 2 dates I gave you. Now, you know, the one part, and I'll get onto the show, the one thing that we don't want to talk about is mental illness, because we assume this old age definition that when you have mental illness, you are crazy and need to be locked up. When in actuality, mental illness is a big, huge picture, and it contains a whole bunch of different things where you're not crazy. You're not. It's just that at certain points of time, you might feel a certain way. You know, and with women, your thyroids could be acting up. Shoosh. That's part of mental illness, because at that point you be like, you know what, I don't need to talk to nobody today. I just don't. Okay, then you know why you don't, and that's part of mental illness. So mental illness isn't you're crazy. Mental illness isn't you know you need to be locked up. If so, we wouldn't have nobody walking around, because at different times of everybody's life they experience some mental illness. So we're going to talk to Hosetta. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
And we talked to Cinderella about what she did, but we're going to talk to Cinderella again. Good morning.
Good morning, Phyllis. Thanks for having us. So glad to see you.
I'm glad you're here. You know, and when you talk to Cinderella, you know, she can light up a whole room.
Thank you.
And when you listen to her story, you want to know how can she still light up a room, you know, from what she's been through and the different stages of mental illness she's experienced. And you got to remember, sometimes your health can cause your mental illness.
Yes.
And sometimes your environment can cause mental illness. Sometimes medications you take can cause so you can't put it at one. You got to put it, you can't put it as one thing. You got to remember that it's a huge, big thing, and it's more than that to take it. So we're going to talk to Hosetta first. Hosetta, why me first? Okay.
Wow.
For women, and we only talk about women today. We'll try to drag me in at a later date. I'm going to have to get some rope for that one.
Great.
But what do you do for women with mental illness?
Well, Phyllis, again, I am
a certified spiritual life coach, and I am a pastor by nature. So just when dealing with women in general, when they're dealing with mental illness, oftentimes, definitely you got to make sure you know the physical side, which is the MD side, because you always want to address that with people to never get away from not taking their medications. So you want to definitely have them take that medication in faith. But I always deal with the spiritual side of people, the physical, mentally, and spiritually. You have to look at the whole total of a person, because we know that we are soul, we are body, and we are spirit. So I mainly address the spiritual side of people to help them understand and help them grasp how the word of God can help them, not only with medication, but the spiritual side. And so if I'm dealing with any woman that has mental illness, no, again, they're not crazy, as you specify. They are not crazy. So you have to get them to that point to believe that they're not crazy, that it's a chemical imbalance. Because I'm also a foster parent, and I work with mental illness on a daily basis. And it's about showing people a lot of love and compassion and getting an understanding of that chemical imbalance in their mind.
Yeah. And so, Cinderella, mental illness to you meant what?
Mental illness meant it was my escape, because of the fact that of where I came from and the abuse. It became kind of a place to visit. It wasn't one that was actually I was born with. It was one that developed. I mean, disassociation, the being able to escape to a fantasy world, to live under the fog of childhood abuse. And it was my existence, because I will tell you, it was so severe that I had many names. Like, I would get up and go and be somewhere else, and I left my childhood, my abused woman, I left her at home sitting on the bed, and with it came, I got saved eventually, but with it came a lot. There was drug addiction and suicide attempts on a weekly basis. It was so bad that I lost my children to it, because I could not function. I was in denial. I didn't realize that the severity of my condition was so toxic that anyone around me was infected. It was bad.
Stop right there.
Yeah.
People don't realize that. They don't realize that their mental illness at this point of the stage they are affects everybody. They just think it's me. People think, oh, it's just me. It's just me. They don't realize, no, it's not just you. It's everybody around you. Because when you're dealing with what you're dealing with, and the other person says, she is crazy today, I'm not going to deal with her. Or, men say other things. But, the person doesn't realize that they affect everybody that they really, really know. Now, the people they don't really know, it doesn't affect them. But their inner circle, it affects everybody. In your family, you're right, it affects, and people don't think that it affects that part. They just think that they're going through this all by them little selves, and nobody else is.
That could be part of the mental illness, because you get so submerged in it, this dark cloud where you think it's all about you. Oh, poor me. And it's not mockery. It's not meant to say what a mockery, but it's a form of it. You become, why me? Why they don't understand me? But that's also a form of it, that it's a denial. But it affects everybody. It wasn't until my life came to a halt that everything in my life was put on hold, and it was it was the fact that I was pulled out of my life. It took the law. It took someone calling CPS on me. It took someone saying, oh my God, she's nuts. And I will tell you, it was a fantastic thing, because that's when I learned, through 10 years of going to therapy, and I met Jesus in jail, that together, between knowing God and actually going to see a medical doctor, I learned so much. Because what she said is so true. I had so much physical manifestation that I didn't know that were linked to my mental illness. I had all of this. I can't get out, I'm sluggish, constant fatigue, sad. I mean, it was just, there was a lot. And as I started to address the fact that I was disassociative, I had borderline personality disorder, because I had to learn to leave my body when I was being sexually abused so much. I started to understand, and I even had manifestations in my body of abuse, even though I was no longer being abused. You know what I mean? So, and it affected because then I kept on thinking, well, I'm just nuts, you know. But it is all linked. And I will tell you that my only cure, and I'll be honest, I took my meds till it was a point that God led me, was my salvation was God. When I began a relationship with God, when I began hearing what He said about being sick, when I began hearing His Holy Spirit minister, that's when I found my anchor. And I said, okay, I'm going to hold on to this. And that's how it began for me, the healing. But it was a long journey. And I just thank God that every day I think it's a journey, you know. Every day there's a little struggle, you know. And
so, Hosetta, how do you explain to someone that what's going on with them affects their inner circle and their family?
I think, as Cinderella stated, you have to realize that they have to come to the point to realize that the things that they is dealing with, the mental illness that they are dealing with, they have to come to a realization that this is not all your world, that this is not all about you. So you have to really make that person get an understanding that this is affecting your kids, this is affecting your marriage, this is affecting everything. And oftentimes, as she stated, most of the time it always comes down to the worst part of it, you getting incarcerated or you getting your children taken away, and then finally a light bulb come on. So sometimes maybe not even a spiritual person or a pastor or anyone can make that person wake up to realize that, okay, this is affecting everything around you. And oftentimes it takes something drastic like that to make them realize that, okay, this is affecting everyone.
And what did you do about the I me person? That Cinderella was saying that some of them go, why me? Just why me? And you know, so they go on with the why me party. And
well, most of the time people do that with the pity party. They have that pity party on their self because they want someone to feel what they're feeling. And so and it comes from the spirit of rejection. As she stated, it comes from that. So when they do that, when they go into that why me syndrome, why is this happening to me? Oftentimes they're just looking for that void that they don't have in their lives. And most of the time they'll get it from salvation that will fill that void that they're looking for.
You know, a friend of mine, her mom's in the hospital. And so I went to visit her because my coworker, she's a coworker. She was taking her kids on spring break, so you know she was saying somebody go see my mom. I'm like, okay, so I went to see her, and we were, and she was really down about her health because she's used to doing what she wants to do when she wants to do it. You know, all of a sudden, body is saying we're not going anywhere. Right. You know, so I asked her, hey, what's she eating? No, I'm not eating. I don't want this food. Okay. You know, I'm like, all right. Okay, sure. You know what? I said, so she was looking to me for a pity party because she was really down about her health. So, we went back. I said, so you're not going to eat? She said, I said, so you're not leaving here, right? She said, yes, no, you're not. She said, why? I said, because they chart what you eat. So she looked at me. She said, what? They chart what you eat. I said, first of all, you don't eat. You're not going to walk because your body's not getting no nutrients. So she's looking at me like, you're supposed to be agreeing with me, not, knocking me down, So they bought her tray for lunch. She said, I don't like that. What is it? So she tasted it. She said, this is a little spicy. I don't like spicy food. So I told her to take the tray back. I said, bring her something else. She goes, I'm not going to eat it. Oh, you going to eat it. Is she older than me? Yes, she is. But I realized she didn't need me to have pity on her. She needed me to buck her, to go bam, So they bought her the next tray. They bought another tray. And it was a hamburger. And I asked the lady, I said, is this a dead hamburger or is it, juicy? She said, what do you mean? I said, dead has just nothing on it. She said, I'll be back. So she went and bought ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise. So I looked at her. She said, what? Put the ketchup in, whatever you put on the hamburger, put it on there. So she did. She said, I'm not going to eat it. I said, you're going to eat it or we're going to fight. She said, you don't understand. I'm tired. I'm just tired. I didn't hear. I heard her, but I acted like I did not hear that, right? And I'm looking, and she had basically just like, can't walk, and nothing, So she was, I'm just tired. I said, anyway, whatever. Take a break. I said, you're gonna eat half of this hamburger, one with the other. depression had entered, and I felt all of that with her. But I refused all of it. Mm-hmm. So she bit into the hamburger. She chewed it up. She said, "You happy?" Nope. She said, "What, I got half of it?" She says, "But you said you only got a little while to be here." No. I'm going to stay here till you have the hamburger. Yeah. And so, I said, "You got some cranberry juice. Women need cranberry juice. You need the red. I said, any red drinks that are no sugar, women need because it's good for our body." So she drank and she ate a little more. She said, "I told you that I'm tired. I'm just tired of all this." I said, "Keep eating." So she's looking at me like, "You heard me tell you," and I heard it. I heard her. I heard every word she said. She said, "I don't know why I'm being put through this." I heard all that. I said, "Keep eating." And she's looking at me again like, because she's waiting for me to enter. Yes. And I never did. I kept saying eat. So she ate half of it. She said, "You happy now?" Nope. She said, "What do I do now?" "You gotta drink the juice." She said, "I am going to." So the lady from the cafeteria came back, and I said, "No, she's not finished yet, but she needs some ice water." I said, "Nah, I put a cup of ice in water." She said, "Yeah." She said, "No, I don't." "Yes, you do." I said, "Don't listen to her, okay?" The lady says, "Well, she's really, don't listen to her."
Right.
So I said, "Don't listen to her." So they brought her ice water, and then she came and got the tray because she finally drank the juice. So the lady says, "Well, later, you're allowed to have a snack at night." She said, "I don't want none because I don't feel like eating because I'm just tired." I said, "She likes pudding, graham crackers, and the little saltine cracker thingies." She did, yeah. So she said, "I don't want it." I said, "I told you don't listen to her." And the lady was looking at me like, and the mom, I call her mom, she goes, "You just don't understand, Phyllis. I'm just tired. I'm tired of all this." Once again, I didn't acknowledge it, but I heard her, but I refused to acknowledge what she was saying. So, they brought her back to pudding and all that. So she said, "It's going to be here when you come visit me tomorrow." "No, no." She said, "Why?" I said, "I work with special needs 3-year-olds. Don't let me treat you like one of them." So once again, she looking at me like, "You don't understand, I'm tired." I said, "You don't understand that I'm tired of hearing you say you're tired." She goes, "What?" "I'm tired of you saying you're tired. I don't want to hear it." She said, "Okay, well," she said, "but this is it for me." "Who said?" She goes, "Why? Who said?" I said, "I'm going to tell you this." I told her, what most people don't know, I was in the hospital for 7 days. But 2 days prior to that, I was at home. Thank heavens I didn't leave. When I got to the hospital, the doctor had told me for those 2 days that I was at home, physically I was dead, mentally I was alive. So he said my body went through the functions of what it was supposed to do because my brain said do it. He said, "Other than that, I wasn't here." So I told her, I said, "But I told them, doctors, that I ain't going nowhere yet. I got too much hell to raise." And that's what I said to her. That was my exact word. She said, "I said, I got too much hell to raise. I got too many people that I need to knock them in the head and make some sense into their brains. I ain't going nowhere." So I told her that. She says, I said, "So I'm still here." She said, "I'm still here raising hell." She says, "Well, that's my job. That's what I was born to do. I'm good at it." I said, "So I believe that's what I was born to do because I'll speak up. I'll stand on the desk. I'll kick your door in. Whatever I need to do to get you to understand what's needed, especially for kids, I'm going to do it. Right. If I got to beat you in the ground, yeah, so be it." So with her, she like... Call me. So, but with her the whole time, we went through this. So now she's in rehab. I went to visit her. I didn't hear nothing. She looked at me, she goes, "How you doing?" "I went to therapy today." She said, "I can't move my leg right." I said, "And?" She said, "I heard you yelling at me." She in her head, she said, "I heard you yelling at me. And you don't want to hear it." She said, "So I walked for 10 minutes. Wow. She said, "My leg was killing me." She said, "But I don't want to hear you say anything to me. So I did it for a few more steps." She said, "It was paining me, but I kept doing it." And, she said, "Because you won't let me," she said, "You're not letting me have my pity party." I said, "Because I don't know what one is. And I don't identify with it. So if I don't know what it is, I can't deal with it." Right. She said, "But do you understand it?" "I don't understand them, so therefore I can't deal with it." But some of the things you got to do is be tough love, I want to say, to certain people. And they'll learn that, okay, fine, this is not working.
That didn't work for me.
The pity party didn't work for you?
No, the
tough love didn't work. What worked? And where were you when it worked?
Compassion worked.
Ah.
Being the youngest of there was 9 because some of them passed away when I was young.
Ooh.
That didn't work. I got the tough love and the we're not gonna pay attention, and that didn't work. It was when I met this one woman, and she's still my friend on Facebook, my sister. Compassion. And I was broken. I had taken my children away. Probation said I couldn't live where I lived all them years because I lived in South Beach. So my whole life had to change. And I had a lot of pity for myself, but it was more, I was self-victimizing. It was more, I was my own victim. I constantly sabotaged myself. I constantly made myself a victim. And I didn't know. Girl, I was in denial. Forget about being in denial. I was denial. I was the poster child. And it was compassion. This one woman, she was just sweet to me. And let me tell you, that's not her personality. So you know that was God using her. She's a beautiful woman, but she's very, quiet. And she would just, every day she would see me. And every time she would see me, she would just say something nice like, God has a plan for you. And I'm praying for you. And she would reach over and touch me. And I like to be touched. And I used to be like, don't touch me. And she was compassionate. Now, mind you, she did give me tough love, but she did it in a compassionate way.
Right.
She let me go. She let me do word vomit. And after I did word vomit, she was like, you ready now? Are you done? She was like, so it was an amazing experience. That's when I learned that you could be compassionate. You could acknowledge someone's pain, but then you could kind of buck them, which I'm robbing that from you. I'm going to be like, Phyllis had to buck them. And you can buck somebody, but she did that. But she did it with love. And I was in a transition that I went from this club goer, I was this club goer that threw fashion shows that everybody knew me. People gave me drugs and money, and I was in denial, girl. You went home, I had dog feces under my bed. My house was a mess. My children were constantly alone. I used to try to kill myself 3 times a week for real, Phyllis. Like I would take tons of pills, and then I would wake up and go, oh, it didn't work. And that's how severe it was. It was a severe possession. It was like, forget about just being exteriorly people seeing it. It was interiorly. I was in denial. And then that lady showed up into my life. And she was sweet and she was tender and she was genuine. And because of her sweetness and her tenderness and her genuine, it changed everything. I felt like I was worthy. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I felt like someone cared enough, and little by little, I don't know how to explain it to you. I would see her and then I got embarrassed. I was like, how am I gonna tell her? She's showing me how am I gonna? So I would try to aim my guns to find someone else to go, poor me. Yeah. And I will tell you, it was a journey, but it was the most amazing journey. And the more that I got interacted with women of God, they were compassionate, not religious, uppity, prideful, rude. Oh, girl, it was compassion. It was compassion. The more compassion I got, the more I wore a hoochie mama skirt to church and no underwear, and I was high. And that one lady was like this, she was not utilized for my life. The one lady that came over with the little scarf and went, yeah, baby girl. And then sat next to me and didn't say, oh, you stink like vodka, and said, hey, you want a mint? That one lady changed my life. God's compassion. Pulled me out of denial, made me face the fact that I was dysfunctional, that I was broken, but that I was worthy. That was it. That was the transition that changed it.